Hello, everyone. Welcome to Starfleet Tactical. It is Saturday night at 10 p.m. And I actually think that there's a good chance that we're not actually doing this on the Aries Studio channel. Today has been a day full of technical issues. And I just got a notice as I started the broadcast that it wasn't set up on Aries Studio, despite the fact that I've fixed that problem twice already today.
Oh, no. No, let's see. I see. No, I'm seeing it on the Aries Studio. Well, I'm seeing on the Aries Studio Facebook page.
Yeah, I don't think it's on the Aries Studio YouTube channel.
Well, it's on the Axanar YouTube channel, which everyone on the Aries Studios is also on the Axanar. So
hopefully. So I mean, worst case scenarios, people will have to see it in. They'll have to see it in reruns. They'll have to just play.
Well, we will be uploading this afterwards. So yeah.
We'll make sure it ends up there. So in any event, I don't think I did the I'm Chris Weave part. I'm Chris Weave. I'm here with Alec Peters, who hasn't been here for a while.
Hey, all.
So it's good to have Alec back. And we're also here with Claude. Why don't I'll let you introduce yourself.
Well, it depends what we want to know. What you want to have information. At the moment in Italy is 4:00 in the morning. Just very early.
So
yes, I want to introduce myself. Yes, I am French. I live in Italy, and I work in exports about now 35 years. And the last 10 years, I am consultant for a lot of companies in Europe and Middle East, but at the moment I can move and I remain in Europe for my business. But it's complex, but all will be resolved very soon for the work. This is my business.
Okay, that sounds good. So I can't believe that we've gotten 2-3 minutes into the show, and I have yet to say that nothing that any of us say is the opinion of our employers, past, present, or future. I don't know if that's a big deal Alec is self-employed, so presumably what Alec says is
in fact the opinion of my employer.
Me too.
Okay, so you guys can talk for your employers all day long. I do not speak for my employer because if I did speak for my employer, I'd have to give everything I said, I'd have to give to them like a month in advance for them to okay it. And that ain't going to happen. So I'm not going to speak for my employer. So Claude is here today to talk about basically two things. One is that he worked on some of the costumes for Axanar, and I'll let Alec and Claude sort of talk about that, and they can talk about what he did and how it fits into Axanar, et cetera, et cetera. And then we're going to talk with Claude. Claude has also published a novel. It's been out in Italy for a little while. It just came out in English in the US. And so we're going to talk I'm going to give an opportunity to talk about the novel. And I'm also going to ask him a little bit about his writing process, etc. But before we do that, let me see if I can make this happen. Because on the Axanar Confidential show, Alex sent me some photos of the dog he's fostering. And those photos, Alec, took 25 minutes to get to me.
What?
I did not get those photos until 9:30.
Oh my gosh.
And at that point, we were so far beyond the dog conversation that I didn't say anything about it. So let me see if I can do this. I'm not using my normal Macintosh. I'm using my Windows computer that I'm not very proficient with. It's not really configured, but I'm still having Macintosh issues. So let me see if I can make this work. Okay. Why are you not giving me the option of...
God, I wish I had downloaded myself. And I'm on my tin can, my Mac Pro, not on my laptop, where everything is on my laptop.
Yeah, and continuing the theme of things not working.
Let's see if I can.
Okay, hold on a second. There we go.
There.
So that's the dog that Alec is fostering that you helped rescue, right?
Well, no, we didn't do the rescue. He was found in
just-
a Walmart parking lot, and a family's had him for the past week. As you know, the day they found him, the day after, they were like, one of our rescue people said, "Hey, we need a rescue to handle this dog and a foster." And so I contacted Amy, the lady we work with, and I said, "Amy, can you place this dog?" She's like, "Easy. That dog will get taken in like 2 weeks." I said, "Okay, we'll foster for that period of time. You know, if it's a short-term foster, because we have 4 cats in 1 bedroom, and we got, you know, our 4 dogs and our 2 rabbits and all." So, but yeah, he's got a little alcove in the kitchen.
Yeah, the temporary addition to the menagerie. So
Exactly.
and as long as I've got it up, this is the book we're going to be talking about later on. So for those, so I'll pull that back up later. So, all right, let me stop sharing momentarily. Alec, would you and Claude like to talk about the costumes for Axanar?
Sure. And so we've done interviews before with Claude. Basically, Claude approached me a couple years ago about doing the Cage era uniforms for our interview. And since we didn't have someone doing them, it was the perfect opportunity to work with Claude. And Claude and his fabricator, Angela, are meticulous. Claude is meticulous in his research, and all the Cage era uniforms, not the officer uniforms, but the Cage era uniforms are made by Claude, and he's done other costumes as well. He does the wraps, and he does women's dresses and whatever. And I'll let Claude talk a little bit about, you know, how you got into this, how you got into the costuming, and you know, kind of what you've produced and what you're going to be producing, and when are you getting around to maroons?
Well, about the costume is complex. I explain again. The research was very difficult because we must speak about original costumes with collectors. This was the challenge. This was the big complex. And after the research and of all the materials, I have spoken with Angela Vino. She's the costume designer. She recreated costume in old military costume in some museum in Europe. And we crossed together and we worked together to create a new costume, inspired of the Cage, but with a new look for the Axanar episodes 5, 4, and 5. Was a big challenge because you must watch the costume. That okay, this is the Cage, great, but in reality, if you observe better, we change a lot of things because we must give a better look, more grace, more femininity for the woman, and more martial aspect for the man. It was a big challenge because we are not pro. We're not working to the industry, but we must give for Axanar episode a high level because Prelude was very high, but we want to make same or better. This was the challenge because I know Alec have a vision. This is very important when we work because the complexity when we work with someone have no vision and we must resolve some problem. The vision Alec of Axanar is very high and you must follow the vision. And was a big challenge because, you know, we are very far. It's complex because if you are close, you can help actors, you can resolve some problems. When you are far, it's complex. We need a help inside into Atlanta. We have it. But we send all the costumes and we cross the finger, and 90% of the costume go well. A special person inside into the for the shoot resolve little problems for the bread or for the insignia, but for all the costume was resolved. We are happy for the look. Now we are waiting some reshoot in November or in December or in January with some actors and actresses, and we cross the finger for July or August when Axanar will go out. It's a big experience. It's a great experience, and it's very hard, but we like that. Alex gave us this opportunity. We thank him for that.
I know you remind me, for the reshoot in November, we've got the costumes already, because it's JG who has his Admiral's costume, and it's Rob Pralgo, and we already have his. And then the female actress, we have a couple female costumes, so we're good there. We'll be working on the January LA shoot. Will be the next big one. We'll have to, I know I need to get that to you as soon as possible.
We have Deville. I am waiting Deville for the costume.
Oh yeah. I don't think we're going to reshoot anything of his.
I know.
Yeah, I think everything we got from him we'll be able to use. We'll see.
Okay. This is for the costume. And Angela, she's an incredible woman because she works a lot. She is so maniacal, what we say in France, for the right look, the right thing.
Yeah, she's meticulous.
Yes, very meticulous, really. And it's important when you work with this typology of costumes and production.
So, what's next in your on your list of Star Trek costumes that you're going to do?
At the moment, Alec, I am just writing the second book.
Oh wow! Okay.
And because I have just signed the contract for the second one, but we will speak about that in second time. But yes, she finished some costumes of very old German costumes and French costumes, Angela, because she's busy for the work. And now I think next year we have a project, but we want to speak about it. It's too early. But it's a Star Trek TOS, very old costumes in season 3.
Very good.
But we can say nothing.
Okay. Well, let's get on to why we brought you here to Starfleet Tactical tonight. And Chris is going to talk to you about your book, which is now in English. Yes.
Yes. I wrote the Italian version. The book go out in May. After 5 months, I am in the bestseller in sci-fi, military sci-fi, in Italy. Nice. And we translate the book in English, and we make a new cover because the cover in America is completely different. We have a cover for Europe and we have a cover for America because it's two markets completely different and two feeling completely different. This is the reason why we must change the cover.
Chris?
Right, I'm going to put that cover back up momentarily so that everybody can see it.
What? Let's see. Let me see if I can.
Let's see. Let me try to make this a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's too new. It's not. I can't even Google it.
It's in Amazon.
Oh, is it? Okay, let's go to Amazon. Let me go to Amazon.
Yes, it's in Amazon in ebook and paperback. 2 versions, ebook and paper.
I just linked it into the chat.
Oh, thank you. I hadn't gotten around to doing that. So, okay. So that's what it looks like. It's in chat for everybody. That was Stogie, by the way, who...
Stogie.
I always want to say Stogie. I'm sorry.
That's not...
My nickname was created by a little kid calling me Stogely. So it's kind of okay if people butcher the nickname. It's a nickname made up of it being butchered.
Hey, Stogie.
Hey, buddy, how we doing, Claude?
How are you?
So, okay, so the story came out in May. It's now coming out in English. Tell us a little bit about what this story is about. You said it was military science fiction.
Yes.
Tell us more
Yes.
about it.
Is my first novel, sci-fi military novel with mystery aspect and spy aspect inside. This is a story of a young captain, Jane Hathaway. He take the first mission with a new starship. The Heroine is a diplomatic starship. And in the first mission, something will happen. And this is the broken. After that, all will be changed because she will discover something into the civilization inside. She will discover something about friends, about family, and this broken point we follow in all the chapter to arrive to the end. Cliffhanger in every chapter, and is a cold war in the space because we have 5 civilizations. We have Earth, we have the Skatum, we have the Hurak, the Kalgic, and the Alvikian. And these 5 civilizations, the Skatum and the Hurak is fighter empire. In the middle, we have the Alvikian, is more diplomatic, more Machiavellism. And in the end, we have the Kalgic, is the loyal military friends for Earth. And all these civilizations go around into a platform station, the Station 85. And this is a parliament, and all these civilizations fight together to have for peace. And in the middle, we have Earth with people, with solitude, with secret mission, with tragedy mission. And my approach was different. I was not interested about invasion or exploration, but more politics aspect inside with civilization. The relation between Earth and the other civilization was interesting. With secret mission, yes. With politic aspect, yes. But this was the story theme of the book.
That's interesting, Claude, because you say the category is military science fiction, but it doesn't feel like you're stressing the military aspect. It's more political science fiction, it sounds like.
Exactly. Because Jane Hathaway is a captain of diplomatic. And the role of this woman is create bridge between civilization after some war, after some fight. Yes, we have into the book mission, separate mission, sure, but is very interesting to have the different approach of the civilization and the different way to join the same way the power, because in the end all the civilization want the same thing, power, but in different way. The Skatum in a way, the Hurak in another way, Alvikian and Earth. This is the story theme of the book.
So I usually really hate descriptions of books. You see this on Amazon all the time where people say it's like Firefly meets the Hulk or something like that. Those always drive me crazy. That having been said, so I have not finished the book. I'm about 100 pages into the book. That having been said, there's some vibrations. There's some feelings that I get from it. There's parts of it that that remind me a lot of Babylon 5, the idea of the different races coming together, and there's specifically a place where they're coming together, and some of them really want to just strangle each other, but they've decided that it's important for them to come together and try to have this sort of diplomatic location to go to. There's other parts of it that remind me of Star Trek. The fact that the main character is a captain in the diplomatic force. That has some very Star Trek vibes to me. That's some very Starfleet vibes to me. Now, I don't want to overstate those comparisons, right? There are no Vorlons, or at least not. Well, coming to think of it, there might be Vorlons there. I still don't know what's going on with that one. Well, I won't say anything more, but I don't want to give a spoiler. But let's just say that there are the known races that he mentioned, but there's ample reason to believe that there are others out in the galaxy. There's ample reason to believe that. And so there's a mystery to be solved. There's a lot of learning how to, because she's a brand new captain, there's a lot of learning how to interact with her crew. She's in the diplomatic force, so there's lots of having to deal with diplomatic situations and sort of watching all the Machiavellian intrigue take place. Very fitting since you're in Italy right now. It's very interesting. So one question that I hate when I see just an interviewer sort of crudely ask, where do you get your ideas? Ideas are a dime a dozen, right? Usually, but there seem to be some very specific things that you were trying to say here. Where did that come from? Why this story as opposed to some other story?
There is different things very interesting. Example, I was interested about the point of view of exploration in the first piece. This is the reason why I study Christoph Colombo in America or Herman Cortés, the approach of the human into another civilization, into another country, this way, and the relation with these people with new civilization. Sure, is human being, but how are the culture, are the thinking, how was this first approach? The second approach, because you take influence of what you read, what you study. When I start reading, I start Jules Verne, I start Wells, so Bouille or Granville in France. United States was Herbert, Asimov, Bradbury, and Delaney. But I love the approach of Bradbury, the human being into the space, the feeling of the human being. And this was the cross. Human being into the space, how a human feel in relation with herself, with friends, with family, alone into the space, and how we'll feel into a relation with other civilization. This inspiration for Cortés and Colombo, and mix it all with smell of Star Trek, smell of Babylon 5, smell of a lot of film and movie. And it's normal because you take a lot of things inside of you and we remix all to give a new way, a new look, a new approach of sci-fi military.
And you talk about the relationship aspect of it. I'm struck by the fact that the main character has, at least in the part of the book that I've read so far, has a somewhat difficult relationship with her mother, and finds herself in a situation where duty calls her to go in one direction and do something when she might want to go work on repairing that relationship with her mother, but she has to set that aside because she's got a mission that she has to go do. And it's always interesting looking at what people in uniform end up having to do, the sacrifices they have to make, and how those sacrifices impact those, the other members of their family. I've worked for the U.S. Department of Defense for 2 decades now, and I used to see that all the time. So that I found to be very interesting.
Yes, my family, part of my family was on the Foreign Legion. And I have not directly the experience, but later of the front, of people to go to mission, send something to the family, problems with family. My grandfather have problems with my grandmother after the war, and some nightmares. And he go back to after in Indochina for the war, and in Algeria for the war after, and he died for a cancer. But he lived all the life with nightmare. For kill, for survivor. I have a ring of a friend of him. He died in the 1941 in Forest of Izar, and he take for all the time this ring. He never lose it. I have it at home. Object, relation, feeling. I take this experience and I try to put into the book, because when people go back of the war, have back feeling, and he must, to be fair, to accept some reality, and this sometimes is a problem. And in the space is the same. I explain this problem with friends when you lose, or because he's died, the war, or other civilization. This is a great movement. I try to write about that into the book. I hope to join, to touch the reader of that. But I try.
Okay. I look forward to reading the rest of the book to see how that all turns out.
Yes, there is very tragic parts.
So, how long have you been working on this book before it came out? You said it's your first novel. Oftentimes people will say their first novel, they worked on it for 20 years. Other times it's like, no, they get an idea and they run with it, and they're done pretty quickly. How long did this book take you to write?
Depend the process. I have my process writing. Normally I need for this book, and I preparing the second one, normally 2 years and a half. I need 2 years and a half for the research, for the process preparing for the writing, and after the writing, because it's a long process. A lot of people think that maybe that is not my case. You go under the light on midnight and you take your pen and you write. It's very old style. Honestly, not. I have another approach. I explain. There is an interesting book of Murphy, an American writer, explain with the book craft. You have two approach when you write: creativity and study. Creativity is smell, watch, listen, feel, and put inside all around of you. This is creativity, and increase this every day. And after you have the study, because for me it's not possible to writing if you not study. You must study McKee, Trudy, Snyder, Vogel, Campbell, Dara Marks, Brooke, Work, and read a lot of book. And after, when you have finished that, you must study the structure, Aristotle, the act. And after that, I study creative writing school, the School of Chicago, because the writing is changed. You can writing today with the spirit of 200 years ago or one years ago, because 40 years ago, 50 years ago, the writing changed. Because in the past, when you're writing, you tell, you don't show. Now the reader need to feel what he reads, to feel the character, how he smell, how he watch. And in the writing, you must give this on the writer. There is an interesting lines of Chekhov and say, don't tell the moon is shining. Show me how the glint of the light is on the broken glasses. This is the different way. And you must try to write this in this way. And after that, when you create your character, you create your theme, the story theme, the interaction with the characters, the interaction in different lines, chapter, act. When you have all of that with enter, with development, with breakpoint, middle point, climax, and denouement, say the end in France, when you have all of that, requires a lot of time. Now you can write. And you must write all in all those parts. And when finished, you must rewrite and cut to give the small and the essential part of the lines. Mm-hmm. And when you have finished that, you did, okay, I have 70% of the book. You take your book, you put the book into the boxes, you wait 2-3 months, and after that, you take again your book and you read, because you are far away to have the distance, the objectivity to see, okay, now I can enter again into the book and I rewrite, cancel, rewrite, cancel, modify, and after that, okay, now I have the book in 90%. I can propose my book to the publisher. But it's called, for that, you need, some people are very speed, other very slow. My time is about 2 years and a half. It depends. Now I'm writing, I make a lot of research for the second one, and I am working on it.
So it's the process you outlined sounds like you go in with a pretty detailed outline of what you plan to write. I'm always fascinated talking to writers, because I go to a lot of science fiction conventions here in the US. I've heard lots of writers talk about their process. In fact, just this past weekend, I was at a con, and there was a panel where they're talking about how they go about doing it. And you've got, on the one hand, you've got what they call the plotters, who do an elaborate outline in advance and pretty much follow it, versus what they call the pantsers, and they write by the seat of their pants, which the American idiom just means that you're just sort of going with the flow, you're taking it where the muse takes you, et cetera, et cetera. And it's interesting talking to writers, because some of them say, well, I can do one or the other, I can do both, I've done both. Some of them say, oh, I have to do it this way, or I can't do it, or I have to do it that way, or I can't do it. When you do that detailed outline and then you go to do it, do you follow it all the way through? Or are there times where you go, you know what, I've got a better idea, I'm going to do it differently than what I wrote down?
Listen, I make some masterclass with Dan Brown or James Patterson or Aaron Sorkin, a screenwriter of West Wing, and in France with Bernard Weber. And it's very interesting because every writer or screenwriter have personal. Mm-hmm. Dan Brown get up in the morning and have just only the computer and nothing around. not disturb, not phone, not smartphone, not internet, any work. Bernard Weber in France, another way to work. My work is I get up in the morning on 5 o'clock and start writing for 2 hours about is writing is not research, because I don't mix research when I research, writing when I writing. Is two parts completely different. About 2 hour and a half every day is a training.
Mm-hmm.
You must training your brain. Sometimes Saturday and Sunday in the afternoon I write more of another 2 hour, because it's necessary. Is a training of yourself. Is a training of your brain every day exercise or and when you are in love. When I am in love in writing, is a long story, because the writing, you must be in love of the writing, because if you don't love what you do, you can do it, but for nothing. If you don't have the love of what you do, Confucius say, if you try to love what you make, you never work. And this is my point of view. The writing is a very old story, because when I start the writing, I was about 9-10 years old, and helped me a lot inside, because the writing is very therapeutic for me, because my father died, my mother was very depressed, and my brother had some problem with the legs, that was in the hospital for 2 years, completely paralyzed, very young. And I was in this atmosphere. And for me, the writing was the moment for me to broke the wall on the room. And this is the reason why I read a lot of books, of sci-fi book, because Cross the Planets, Cross the Galaxy helped me to go away. And step by step, the writing, I grew up with that. But I was not very satisfied about my work. And I put all the work into the boxes, because and after that I participate in different conference of sci-fi, of Star Trek conference. I discuss with a lot of writers, and again return back the love of the writing. And this is the way you write, because you are in love. And the right this is the same line of all writer, I think. Sure, sometimes you can have problem, but if you are not in love with the writing, you can write. This is my approach of the writing.
So when you what was the first part of this story that came to you? Was it because I've heard some writers will say that the first thing that comes to them is a character, right? They see a character and they want to explore about that particular character, and so they have to sort of figure out who that character is and what they're doing, and they start with the character and then move to the rest of the story. I've heard others say, I start off with a background, I start off with a world that I want to explore, and then I have to people it with characters. The characters come later. Others will start with, there's an idea that I want to explore, and so I need to sort of find the best way to explore that idea, and then everything else comes off of that. Can you point to where this started for you, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I explained before, I was interested about the point of view of the exploration, because a lot of Colombo, or I explained Cortez, but was the point of view of a man. And I was interested to have the vision of a young woman captain, not a hero, a normal people, a normal woman into the space. We are habit now to have the man hero, the strong, I want to break this, to have a point of view of a woman for a revisitation of the exploration, a revisitation of the relationship with civilization. And this was very interesting. The point of view of civilization in exploration, but of the side of a young woman. And I try to give my point of view on how can feel a young woman, this exploration, this civilization, this diplomatic aspect, secret mission, and a lot of that. But the side of a young woman captain was a completely changed point of view, because we have habit here today to have strong woman, strong man, and I want a normal person into a role of diplomatic captain, and this was the challenge, to break the traditional aspect of the strong people with fragility, a human being, a normal human being.
When you're writing, does the act of writing energize you, or does it use energy?
No, I explained you before. Only is a pleasure. I am in love. I am in love in all the time when I'm writing. Nothing is a problem for me. Sometimes I get up on the midnight, because I have this in everywhere, in kitchen, in the car, and I register everything when I have, and after I have a box ID into my computers with all the ID I put, and is pleasure. It's only pleasure. No, I can't say no. It's not suffering. No, only pleasure.
Oh, I didn't say suffering. I just said, does it make you tired to write? It can be a good kind of tired.
No, never.
I actually expected that you were going to say that. Anybody who gets up at 5 a.m. and writes at 5 a.m. probably isn't going to start off their day by doing something that's going to make them real tired.
No, tired. No, pleasure. Only pleasure. Never tired. Sure, sometimes I sleep very early because I'm finished completely. But when I go to sleep is a pleasure, because it's okay. It's fine. I must to sleep because I'm tired. But is a real pleasure, really.
So you said you write for a couple of hours in the morning. Do you have a set time? I mean, do you stay at the keyboard until you've written for 2 hours, or do you?
Yes.
Okay.
You must have a discipline. The writer must have discipline. When you make sport, you must write. You must respect your time, because it's a mentality, is an approach of the writing. All the writer must the real force of the writer. Okay, is his style. Okay, is creativity. Okay, is study, but is discipline. You must have discipline if you want to join something. And this was the experience I have when I have spoken with writer in convention. In the end, what is discipline? You must try every day, writing. Today you don't write for the book. Nothing. Not important. Write to exercise you. Sometimes I make exercise to example. I did today I want to test myself to an approach of more movie, because example into the book sometimes I used a technique a cross-cutting, because a lot of people think that the cross-cutting is a cinema technique. In reality, it's not. It's Dickens. Dickens used into some books of Oliver Twist or David Copperfield the first technique, the cross-cutting, and after. In the start of the movie, we have Griffith and the Born Nation use it. In The Godfather, you have the technique, the cross-cutting. And I use this technique because I have same situation in different scene. You have the same moment with different scene. And use this cross-cutting into my book. Another thing, when I make some exercise, I said, okay, today I want to have an approach as cinema, panoramic, building, windows, room. A man has showed the face. And I make this exercise to have a movement of camera of as cinema is exercise, because my approach is more of the writing. I take an influence of the movies and the books, but I love this movement of camera, the zoom, the traveling, and I use this effect sometimes into the book about the cut, about the movement of some characters. Not generally, but it's some exercise. This is the reason why I explained you before. You must every day training yourself for the writing, for the creative writing. I explain you the creative writing. You must feel the things, and you must try. When you do, I am tired. No, I'm not tired. You must explain why, how you feel, and is exercise. And this is the reason why you must training yourself every day and find new solution, new way to write better every day, because you must increase your quality.
I can't remember who exactly it was that said this, but there was a famous author that somebody asked him the question about, how does, the question about discipline and do you write every day, et cetera, et cetera. And he says, I write when inspiration strikes. Luckily, it strikes at 9 a.m. every morning. Which I thought was I've also heard other writers say, and you see this in writing books, it's like, don't get overly wrapped up in the idea that you have to do certain things to be in the mood to write, because once you start doing that, you're one step away from finding excuses to not write. Exactly. And so you need to be finding excuses to write, not excuses to not write.
Exactly. Correct. I agree. And I say you is people that how you feel when you write, what you feel when you are writing. I explain you pleasure, and is nothing. I explain you. It's not important what you read, what you are reading. Just take pleasure in everything what you do. This is the important thing if you want to join something.
I agree, and that sounds to me like a pretty good place to stop for today. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and especially since we made you get up early to do it. Is there any Alec, you've been quiet for a lot of this. Is there anything that you want to add?
No, it's been fascinating listening to Claude's process. I'll add, when you were talking about the different ways to write a story, the one thing I'll add is when I took the course with Robert McKee about screenwriting, he always says that, and of course this is one type of writing, and But he always says the first work you have to do as a screenwriter is flesh out your characters. And he says you can have your story, that's fine, but what you have to do is flesh out your characters. You have to build their backstory. You have to know them so intimately that you know what they're going to do in any given situation. Then you can take your story and you can put your characters right in the story, and the script should write itself because you know exactly what they're going to do. And I found that really, really helpful when writing Axanar, is knowing the characters so well. And it really felt that way. It really felt like, it was just a lot easier to write just because I knew what these characters were and I knew who they were and what they were going to do.
Right, Alec, you have right. And the character spoken with me every day, knock the door and that, oh, listen, you must do that. Because you must enter inside in every character. You must feel, you must smell, you must look with the eyes. This is the writer must have a lot of mask of characters, and when he's writing, because for me the dialogue is very easy because I go inside into the character very easy. The woman or the man or Mavut or Bax or Admiral Edwards or Bellini or Lisa Chan or Mazim Hashebe is the second officer of Jen Hathaway. I enter inside of the characters, and this is the big challenge for the writer. Go inside, and after the story go easy.
Yep. Well, wishing you luck. This is awesome. I'm really excited for you and wishing you well on the U.S. premiere of your book.
It's complex because it's a big challenge because your market have a high quality audience. It's different, completely different to Italy because Italy is not a very important market of sci-fi. Europe have not a high quality sci-fi market. America have a big market but have more competitivity, and I want to try this market. This is the reason why I propose my book for this market. I know it's difficult because I am not a big American publisher, but I will try, and I will see what will happen with this book.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So,
and thanks for the opportunity today to have this possibility to present my book. Thanks Alec, and thanks Chris.
Thank you for coming. I've got one last comment I'd like to pass on to everybody. I have not had the opportunity to go through, usually I take the chat logs, I go through and I look if there's any questions I need to answer, etc. I'm a couple of episodes behind just because I'm still having technical issues. And
put the link of the Amazon book.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was there. I'm going to put it. We're going to put it in the show notes here, and we're going to send out an email to everyone with it as well.
It's already should be in the show notes. I put it in the description, so so people can find it there. But
there it is.
I just want to close that because it's very important for me. 30% of the commission go for the charity. For me, is important.
Oh, awesome!
That's cool. That's cool.
Awesome.
Cancer. Okay.
Oh, okay. Very good.
My brother because he died last year, and for a cancer, very terrible in 2 weeks. But it's not for that. Only for that. Is because it's for me must help people.
We appreciate that.
Okay, and this is the reason why I want to thank you again for the help.
Absolutely. All right, guys.
I
think with that we're done.
I can make it. I just make it down.
Close enough.
Wait. Okay.
There you go.
That works.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for coming out. We appreciate it.
Thanks for the.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.